Let's make sure we have the right connection. So I'm excited to be here and to talk about what I believe is the next industrial revolution, the invention that has been around for more than 75 years, but up to November 2022, most of us were not aware of this. So when we think about technology in logistics and in warehousing, the first thing that comes to our mind is automation. Machines replacing manual labor to speed up processes and reduce errors. But what we're going to be talking today is completely different from this. Artificial intelligence is a game changer for every industry. It's not just about doing the same things faster, but doing things that we didn't think was possible before. We've all been around automation and investment, and we've seen how technology displaces labor. It has been since the first industrial revolution in agriculture and then in factories. But this is the first technology that I see is going to be replacing or enhancing white-collar jobs. So what we're going to be talking today is, I'm going to be explaining what generative AI is. I'm going to answer the question, is it really that big of a deal? Then I'm going to be showing the difference between automation and artificial intelligence, and I'm going to dive in specifically into AI models, and then a quick AI model adoption for any company. My objective today is for you to understand what AI models are and how, once you interact with them, it's going to be really easy for you to imagine how to use apps or even build custom AI models that are going to enhance your productivity, I believe, 10 times in a matter of seconds. So let's get started. Okay. There it goes. Yeah. Now you know what? This is not AI, that's why it's not working. Traditional technology. Could you click next? That'll be easier. I'll be telling you. I think you're using the wrong word. It's okay. We'll see when the video comes. So what is generative AI? Can you move to the next one? When you think about intelligence, I believe there's three types of intelligence, and we all know people who are intelligent in one of these ways. The first one is, can you go to the next one, please? Now it works. You can learn something word by word. We all know that friend that knew the definition of an article or knew the composition of a specific thing, and he could recite that definition by heart. But once you ask them, what did the author meant by this quote? He had no idea because he had just learned the word. But there's another different type of intelligence in which you can reason what you've learned. And that's why a lawyer can argue against and for something using the same article. So intelligence means to actually learn by heart something, understand what that means, and being able to reason that in different ways. That is what true intelligence actually means. With these three things, you can develop two things, which is knowledge and abilities. You could be very good at Jeopardy and know facts, but if you're not able to use that information into something useful, negotiation, problem solving, actually doesn't work if you're not that intelligent. When you are able to learn, comprehend, reason, to develop knowledge and abilities, then you're able to create, recommend, solve problems, make decisions, adapt to new situations, achieve goals. This is what generative artificial intelligence is. It's a system that is able to understand, reason, in order to develop knowledge, abilities, to create and do stuff. Most of us think of technology as something you program with this tree of decisions and it becomes really complex to program. Being intelligence for a computer means being able to reason and do things by itself. Everything started 75 years ago in a university with a professor called Turing said, this is a test in which you will be able to develop or identify if a technology is intelligence. I'm going to hand you a piece of paper with something written on it. And if you're able to decipher if it was written by a human or by a computer, then it's not intelligence. But if you're not able to decipher if it was done by a computer or by a human, then we can say it is intelligence. We've all heard those words by Alexa or Siri, which you immediately know it's a computer. We've all seen those pictures that you immediately see and think it's a computer. But nowadays, artificial intelligence is so intelligent that we are not able to decipher if it was made by a human or a computer. That's real intelligence. And this has been around for many years. But something happened that made it available for us. I imagine you all saw the movie Matrix, right? To be honest, when I saw this picture, I didn't understand what that meant. Until I talked to my partner who is, business partner who is a programmer, he explained to me that the language of computers is a binary language. My dad tells me that the first computer they saw in Tec de Monterrey was as big as this room, and you had to insert like a big piece of paper with just dots on it, like Morse code or something like that. And that's the way the computer understands instructions. So they tell me. And it's moving so fast. So the word hello could be written. So words can be represented using binary codes, zeros and ones. This is how you would represent hello. 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0. I'm not going to go over, but computers can read words by binary language or binary codes. Images is nothing more than the combination of 3 colors, and you can create any image. The difference is the size of the pixel. If you use a big pixel, the picture would be not good. But if you use a really small pixel, the image can be like myself. We are all those small cells. So any color, any picture can be represented in binary code. The same goes for sound. It's nothing more than the length and the amplitude of a wave, zeros and ones. So if words can be represented by binary codes, images, sounds, what would we need for computers to be able to create all of that? They would need to be intelligence, which now is our reality. Artificial intelligence is not conventional programming. You know what the input for artificial intelligence, you'll see that later in the presentation, is just the ability to communicate effectively. There was a class back in elementary school, I think, that was called Learn How to Think, and they teach you how to communicate in an effective way. The only programming tool you need is words written or spoken in a clear manner, and that with those instructions, artificial intelligence is going to do wonders. So it's not about programming. It doesn't know everything. It's an exaggeration when you say this artificial intelligence model was trained with all of the information on the internet. That's not true. It was with a vast amount of information, and it's limited to the training it has. And this brings another big opportunity for ourselves, because today we can train the model with your own information. The third thing is, it is not self-sufficient. It always requires a human hand to configure it, and it doesn't have emotions. And I say this because there's a big trend in mental health in which new generations, instead of going with a mental health professional, they start using ChatGPT and all sorts of models to treat themselves. And there's a trend of girlfriends and boyfriends of artificial intelligence, and they develop relationships because they're able to emulate how we speak. But that's not artificial intelligence, it's just programming. That's why in every step you always find human design, AI execution, and human supervision. And this is really important. I'll go in detail even further along, but there's something called prompt which is the instructions you give to the artificial intelligence, and there's something called prompt engineering, which is the feedback you give to the model in order for it to learn. The way I like to see it is artificial intelligence is your personal assistant that you need to train, giving good instructions. The big difference is that once you give them information and feedback, it will never forget it. It's the perfect assistant you can think of. And we have not yet fully understood the power it has. Hopefully we'll get it today. And is it really that big of a deal? Should we be paying that much attention? So let's see what some of the thought leaders think about it. Bill Gates says AI is the most revolutionary technology that he has seen in the past 40 years, as fundamental as internet. Bezos said it's hard to overstate the tremendous impact AI will have on society. Alphabet CEO says artificial intelligence will have a deeper impact on humanity than fire, electricity, or the internet. AI is not going to replace managers, but managers who know how to use AI will replace those who don't. When I started to work, I felt empowered because I knew how to use Excel and PowerPoint. And it helped me a lot in my first job. Nowadays, the question is, with what AI tool are you enhancing your work? And it's the same question if you have a good accountant that he does everything by hand and is not friendly with any software. You are not going to be using it because you need to be tech savvy. Oracle says, I believe AI will change everything. We are in the era of data-driven autonomous enterprise. AI will enable better decision making, automate processes, and optimize outcomes. And for me, this is an eye-opener. ChatGPT is the fastest application to reach 100 million users. Now, I know the world is way more connected than before, but just think about the impact internet and social media has on the way we do business. Now, it took ChatGPT 2 months, 10 times faster than any other social media to reach 100 million users. And in just a matter of 2 years, or less than 2 years, it was November 2022 when it first launched. We've all heard it, we've all seen it, and the impact this is going to have is tremendous. We still have not grasped the depth of it. We've all heard about IBM's Watson machine that was able to beat Kasparov in one of 6 chess matches, one of 6 chess masters, and then how that Watson evolved into a huge computer. Well, nowadays you're able to access that machine, even smarter machine, without investing billions of dollars. It's practically free, and we're not using it. And this is what we start to hear all around. We've heard that companies are going to replace jobs or at least stop hiring. We've heard about automation. We've heard, and we'll see statistics about that, on how it can automate white-collar jobs in an astonishing rate. But I believe you're not going to be hearing of this too much because no one wants to publicize that they're becoming more efficient by firing people. It's just not something you communicate, but it's going to happen. The question is, they're going to be faster, they're going to be more efficient with less cost, and it's going to become a competition. So automation against generative AI, which is more important, or why did I focus on generative AI? We all know that automation it's a reality, it's just a matter of time. We've seen it in all industries. This is a survey by, take this so you can see all the source. It's too small anyways. But it's a survey that says that by 2030, around 90% of companies are going to have automation integrated. I mean, it's just a matter of time, and we all know this. The market has been growing astonishingly, and it's going to continue to grow at a very fast rate, almost 50% compound average growth rate in the next couple of years, which is, real important. We all know that this is happening and this is something that we need to take care of, right? But it's really expensive. An average warehouse needs to invest in the US around almost $400,000 per warehouse to do automation. It requires a heavy investment. While we'll see how easy it is to implement artificial intelligence. On the other hand, AI is expected to grow twice as fast with a compounded average growth rate of around 36% over the next couple of years. Of course, it's way bigger because it has more industries impacted. But to be honest, this projections, can I get a big, just a bottle of water around? Thanks. But this projection might be wrong. Yes. Look how fast our projection changing. This was a forecast made in March 2020. The forecast was that the market was going to be a $126 billion market. 1 year later, October 2023, the forecast was that it was going to be 3 times bigger. Just 1 year. A few months later, January 2023, the forecast, which is the current one, says it's going to be 5 times bigger in 2025, and it's going to be $1.8 trillion. And every month, a new survey comes and says that the impact is going to be even higher than we thought. So this is scary and exciting at the same time. And when I see the statistic, I get worried because all of the industrial revolution advantages, we all know that they make us more productive, but we saw that in the production line. We saw that in low-skill activities or manual activities in the field or the factory. We've seen that, but we've never seen a technology that's able to automate around 60% of your job, regardless if you have a PhD or no high school degree. Think about it, 60% of your daily activities could be done by artificial intelligence. So when you think about that, the productivity we could have is amazing. And the technology gap is not only going to be around automation, it's also going to be about the productivity of our human and labor force. What is the potential? There's a great report in McKinsey around where is the biggest win in artificial intelligence. Marketing and sales is the biggest. My company, ASPE.AI, makes artificial agents that substitute or enhance customer support and sales people. It's just going to revolutionize marketing and sales, but also software engineering, customer operations, supply chain and operations. The impact is all over the place in different business functions. So the question everyone should be asking is how every business function in my company could use artificial intelligence to enhance their productivity. That's the first thing we need to start thinking about. I love the quote that said that artificial intelligence is not going to substitute managers, but people who know how to use artificial intelligence are going to substitute those who don't. Because you're going to be able to do twice, 5 times the things a regular person can do. So that is why, although automation will impact our industry, today we will focus on how imperative it is to have a generative AI strategy in all of our companies. Now, what I want to do today is, this is not a workshop on showing you how to communicate or how to develop stuff, but I always think that when you show the power a model has, you are the ones who are going to come up with the ideas on how to start using it. And what I want to show you is how the commercial models, the free models, are so much powerful than we thought. So I like to say it this way. You learn about the models, text, image, sound models. You learn how apps are made, and then you start exploring custom-made AI applications. And you'll discover that it's cheaper, faster, and easier than most of us thought. When you thought about a system, you thought about programming languages, about decision trees. It was complex, not anymore with AI. So when we talk about AI text models, we've got ChatGPT with the main investor being Microsoft. So if you have Microsoft, you'll have OpenAI Azure, and you'll have the Copilot. You have the same thing in Google with Gemini. There's Cloud on Topic, there's Pi Inflection, there's the Google model, it's the X model of Elon Musk. It's a race to who's going to dominate. But when I say AI text models, this means that this is the IBM Watson, publicly available for all of us. Each model was trained differently, but they're as powerful as you can think of. Now, under this model, what is ChatGPT, the example? It is as easy as this. It's a chat, text, or voice. The paid version, which is only $20, will give you access to GPT-4. GPT means General Pre-trained Transformer Model. I mean, it's just a technical way of saying that a computer can understand and create text. And it's as easy as starting to chat. Now, again, this is not a workshop, but just I want to give you a framework on how to give instructions to any AI model. The acronym I used was RAFA, like the name of my son, R-A-F-A. In Spanish it's easier, but let me see. The first thing you need to give it's a role. So think about a computer that has all of the information you can think of. Now, when you come to me and you ask me a question about medicine, I can give you an opinion, not a recommendation because I'm not an expert. If you go to ChatGPT and say, act like a medic, he will disregard all of the information that is not from the sources of a medic and only consider MD books and information relative to that profession. So remember we said that you learn stuff, you comprehend it, and you were able to develop skills. You can ask ChatGPT artificial intelligence, from now on, act like a therapist. Now on, like an economist, like a teacher, like in research and development, like a marketer. That's the first role. A, the acronym RAFA means action. What do you want the model to do? I want you to create a song. I want you to create a marketing budget. I want you to create a summary or explain me something. F, the format. I want in a table. Please include this relevant information. And the A is hard as ambience. In Spanish would be contexto or whatever, which means talk about your company, give it information relative to the answer, give him context. Remember, this is your personal assistant, and you need to be as clear as you can with the instructions. So Rafa, let me give you a quick example of quality assurance. Okay, so what I did is, I uploaded la norma oficial de etiquetado, and I asked, considering this document, which is in Spanish, what information should I include in the label of a shoe that comes from China? And it gives me what it should include. And then I said, how should the information regarding the fiber composition of the shoe be written? And it explains me percentage mass, the naming of the fibers, an example of the format, special classes, accuracy and tolerance. And then I say, if I give you a picture, could you tell me if something is missing? And he says, sure, give me the picture. So I gave him the picture. I uploaded the picture, I took it with my phone, and I said, what information am I missing? And it clearly answers, from the image you provided, you would need to, according to this standard, It includes the country of origin, the size, and import details. However, the label is missing these components. Then I asked the AI, I said, could you write an email telling the client what information am I missing and ask for it, and it did that. Or I could have said, please consider this invoice, take the information, put it in the label, and then go print it. And it'll do that. Just imagine this conversation I could have had with a quality assurance people. Can you please check? And I would have to rely on his memory and his ability to communicate. But if I have told the machine, please give me your answer in a table with a couple of examples, or please consider this past 10,000 operations that I've done and recommend me what I should have, or go fetch in the database information relative to this. Now, let's give an example. I think I put here the email. I asked the email, I need you to tell me the email, and it created the email for me. It's amazing. Then, so this is just one example. Yesterday at dinner we did the same thing with, I took a picture of a beer bottle and I asked the same questions, and then we did a bunch of things really interesting on how that could help. So think how, without artificial intelligence, you could have done this. It's relatively easy, but you would have to create a program with a tree of decisions, and it would be a lot of time consuming. There's something inside ChatGPT which is called My GPTs. As I told you, when you create a prompt, you create a role. And every time you have a new conversation, I create a new task, I create a new conversation. But there's something called GPTs. Personally, I use 5 every day. I have my HR GPT, I have my strategy GPT, my social media GPT, my accounting GPT, and I use one for creating prompts. What does this mean? It's like my assistant programmed with information and trained on personal data that I consult every day in order to create stuff. But completely free, you're gonna have a data analyst, a negotiator, a creative writing coach, an expert in safety issues. Here it is, just to give you an example of all of the GPTs that are created. You could have a data warehouse expert, let's see what else I was writing yesterday. And so this is something created for your industry, which is free. Accounting expert, a bunch of them. Then I could have a marketing expert, and I'll have a lot of them. I could have an HR expert, and I'll have a lot of them. All of this is free. People are creating their own GPTs and sharing them. A consultant, advisor, strategist. I could put a link of a YouTube video and it would read it, a 2-hour video, and it would read it in 30 seconds and then give me a summary. A negotiator. I mean, I could go on and on and on how to do this. But ChatGPT is just one example. And the examples I gave you is just for one business function. I've used it to train salespeople. I've created therapists. I use it for nutrition. I'll show you an example of my first mobile app that we created. But there's a bunch more. There's Entropic. When you go to image, ChatGPT has its own image model, Mid-Journey, Stable Diffusion. I'm not going to go into detail, but what I want to share with you is that you only give instructions of what you imagine, and then it can create it. Now let me give you just going back on how this model is so intelligent, because it was trained with information which I say this is a bottle of water, and then I give another picture, this is a bottle of water, and then another picture, no, this is a Coke. And just because I give that information, he understands it. So when I say I want a picture of a lion with wings on a rock, it goes back on a database, looks for lions, looks for whatever, the keywords that I use, think about Google, keywords, and it creates that. That's why when you personalize your model with your information and your training, it's way more effective. This page, which is open art, it goes even a step further. I don't have to give instructions on saying, give me a picture taken by a Canon camera, 4K resolution, because I don't know that. I just go and say I want a picture like this, and then I give the description. So my wife was doing a fitness challenge that includes a menu, and she was worried that she needed to create all the recipes and take pictures. We used this, a realistic picture, and asked for an enchilada or chile relleno or whatever, and he created perfect pictures. Let me give you an example. There's a picture taken. This tool is free. I just select everything and say, prompt, change to fusilli. That's all. Remember, computer understands words, images, and in a matter of seconds, I have fusilli. And videos. Remember, sound, text, images. We've all heard what happened in Hollywood, the strike that happened. And it's because today, you're able to create a whole movie without using actors, without using screenwriters. There's an app that creates the story, the background of every person in the movie, whatever. So it's the same thing. Use text to describe your scene and how it moves. You'll create everything. I have video to video, text to image to video, remove background, all of you can think. Then you can train your own model. Some of you, I'm sure you've seen those apps that you upload a picture and it'll create a headshot, professional headshot. It's really easy. I just gave the model 100 pictures of headshots, professional headshot, and then say, transform this picture into that. It costs less than 1 cent, and you're buying it for 20 bucks, 25 bucks. As easy as that, just because we don't know how easy it is, they tailor a solution. Yeah, there's no sound. If you could do the presentation, the second link I sent you, there's no rush anyway. So when I saw this 2 years ago, I said, this is going to be as revolutionary as internet was in the 90s, or when Google started using search engines. And the truth is that if you don't apply it, you're not going to die, you're not going to go out of business. But if you apply it, you can get a big advantage. If you remember in the early 90s or late 90s, early 20s, people who had an online webpage and advertised in Google, they made millions because nobody else was doing that. Today, that's a must, something that everybody is using. The same goes for artificial intelligence. I like a phrase, and I'll try to translate it, is, but we should not underestimate the old ways of doing things, which is honesty, delivering value, hardworking. And at the same time, we should not overestimate what technology can do. Don't underestimate the old way of doing things, and don't overestimate what technology can do. Technology is only an enhancer of the way we do things. Thank you. So I'm going to show you a movie made completely by AI. just to give you an idea where we are standing right now. And again, this is all models, and I'll explain why understanding what models are is going to be a changer for you. There was no video. But it was all, I need the sound for the next one, it would be great. If not, I'll just talk to you. And nothing in here is real. They only wrote historical footage of California during the gold rush. That's it. It's creating all of this. That's not real. That's not real. Just imagine. This clip shows a flock of paper airplanes. And this is only, I mean, all of this technology has been around for 2 years now, less than 2 years. And look how fast everything is evolving. Now, I'm going to be able to show voice, because we have problems with technology here, but I gave artificial intelligence 2 hours of my voice, and I can create anything. I just write text, and it'll do a podcast, or it'll do whatever I want. And then I went even further. That's not me, that's AI. I gave a 5-minute video of myself in a green screen, and I combined that with voice. And you're not able to hear it, but it sounds like me. And it could actually make me speak 10 languages with my same voice. Now, I have a friend that has a company that makes videos, corporate videos. And instead of being afraid, what they're doing is, how am I going to incorporate this? How can I teach my graphic designer or post-production how to use this? I'll just give you a quick example. 1 year ago, when I wanted to put subtitles in a video, I had to manually input them. Nowadays, it takes 1 second. Just because out of time, I didn't bring all of the examples that I usually show. But it's just amazing. Now, we're not going to be able to hear this, but this is the platform in which you can choose from all the templates around here. You're going to be able to choose from around 100 avatars, all genders, age, whatever. You're going to be able to choose from around 200 voices. Once you select the template, let's see if it works, and I'll walk you through on what I did. So I would like to do an AI training on leadership. I'll use this one, but instead of using that avatar, I will use myself. Let me remove the background. Then, what am I going to say? I could use ChatGPT to create a script. Then copy that, paste that, select the voice. Instead of Jeremy from the States, please use my voice. And instead of saying whatever that says, in Spanish I wrote, hola a todos, esto es una muestra de lo que la inteligencia artificial puede hacer. I just punch play, and the video starts. So I could take an ISO 9000 manual, put it into ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT to create a course in lessons less than 5 minutes, create a quiz, take that information, upload that into this, upload that into my corporate university information or whatever portal, have my staff take it and they take the quiz. And it's gonna cost me less than $100 a month. Now, once you understand the power of the models, what I want you to grasp is you have on your fingertips the ability to use the most powerful computer of Microsoft, the most powerful computer of IBM, the most powerful computer of Facebook, whatever, to do whatever you think and imagine. It costs a fraction of a penny to consult. It's called what you can connect you to a model. And how it works is, it's called an API. And again, I'm an economist, I'm not any tech savvy at all. So you have AI. I use an API to connect to a server that has my database. I use that same API, this is Ron, to connect AI to a web app. Let me explain that with an example. So this in Spanish, I'll translate. It says, act like a nutritionist. Give me a recipe that includes whatever. It's going to create a recipe of an avocado toast with egg. Now, when I created this, we're given the information that you should act like in accordance to whatever guidelines of nutritionists, and I told a lot of the things. Now, I also took the name of the recipe and asked for a picture. But we all know that a general person is not going to go into ChatGPT and write this. So I say, why wouldn't I create an app that creates unlimited recipes? So the only thing that I had to do is save the prompt, put it on the back end, and create this. You'll see and you'll select, I want no food restrictions, I want a low sodium diet, I have this equipment, and then just select, I want a breakfast for one person, 10 minutes, I want a salad, create. The only thing it did is those spaces fill up my prompt. It goes to ChatGPT, generates everything, and then puts it here. How would I have done this before AI? I would have to ask for a cookbook recipe, then classify it, put a lot of decision trees. It would have been a nightmare. It took me less than a week to create this. Now think how you could apply that in logistics, in warehousing, in accounting reports. I was talking to a lawyer, and it's happening more in the US than in Mexico, but because you can know how a judge reacts, and you could see the depositions and everything. I could train an AI to understand all the depositions or cases a judge has taken, and identify a pattern of writing arguments, and then ask the artificial intelligence to rephrase my arguments in the way that the judge likes it. I mean, it's amazing. When you think of this, I think that's why every day thousands of apps are created. Synthesia creates corporate videos like the one we saw. 11 Labs clones your voice. Gamma creates presentations. I could just say, give me a presentation on the history of Pharr, and he'll do the research and create me a 10-slide presentation with pictures, images, everything. Read AI connects to any of my Zoom meetings and gives me a summary. Fumata, I can upload a book and ask any questions I want from it. Market AI is gamification on interior design, guided, is amazing. You would record your computer, the actions that you usually do, and by AI, it will identify the clicks into steps, and then it'll write the steps that you, for example, to create a report. Open Microsoft Excel, open that web page, then type whatever. That step could be recorded and create an SOP with standard operational procedure in a matter of seconds. Talently, interviews and recruitment with AI. I upload the AI can create the job description, can create the interview questions, and I would upload that to the platform. You can screen resumes, then select the top candidates, send them a link. You open that on your phone, you can take the interview anytime, anywhere, and AI is going to answer in a human-like way, like a Zoom presentation, and it's a conversation. It's not option 1, 2, and 3. Hey, how are you doing? And it starts the conversation. Well, the first question I would like to ask is that it would then transcribe the interview, rank the candidates, and tell me which is the best candidate for my job offering. And then you could actually recommend questions that I should do in a follow-up in the final meeting. obviously creates models with AI, predictive models, inventory optimization with AI. I mean, there's thousands. This webpage, there's an AI for that. Just visit it for fun. And enjoy the process of playing with a couple of apps. It's sad that there's no sound, but I want you to see NVIDIA. Let's go through automation and think of it after we understand how AI models work. So the only thing this is doing is reading an image, identifying a plate. If it can identify everything, identify a human. It's really easy to identify if I give him a box that is properly done, or a box that is with a malfunction or whatever. I could give him pictures of good apples and bad apples, and he could identify and remove bad apples. It reads. I mean, it's not that hard now that you understand how this is trained. Well, this is a soda, and this is a pack of 24 Aquafina water. Hey, there's a jam. Let's slow down the conveyor. When you understand how a model works, then you see how you can connect that to video, apps, and everything. It's going to be able to read up some damage package. Why? Because I trained it with it. Now it's no surprise that NVIDIA stock has gone from 35 in 2020, 140 before ChatGPT was released, and it's in 900 right now. There's a hype, of course, because he provides the chips that artificial intelligence computers use. So we saw how the models work. What's the AI adoption roadmap? And I'm only going to show the framework. There's step by step, and I'll summarize them. The question we should be asking is, how can we capitalize on the opportunities, and how can we mitigate the threats presented by AI? Because make no mistakes, companies are going to start using this, and they're going to be more efficient. They're going to have savings. And I differentiated automation from AI because automation involves heavy investment. AI does not. AI is not a technological shift. It's a cultural shift, a human shift, the way we work. I don't know if I have the word there, but hopefully it is. The phrase that I like is we need to reimagine the way we collaborate with computers. How could we take advantage of AI? With people-centered digital culture. We need a digital culture that keeps humans at the center. I'll explain this. It's a pretty deep framework, but we need culture and leadership, which means the first step is creating a guideline of rules in companies, because people are going to be using it with or without your knowledge. If you don't take the proper precautions, information leakage is going to happen. Samsung had a big fail because the marketing team was using ChatGPT to create a campaign. And whenever the product is free, you are the product. So you need to have a guideline. You need to have basic training on the first part, commitment. And then you need to have quick wins. Let's put up a challenge. Identify an AI tool and start using it. Once people get those quick wins, then you go to a construction in which you need to have architecture and technology, because AI models need information. You need to properly structure your information in order for AI models to use them. You need to work on human skills, prompt engineering. It sounds hard because it has the word engineering in it, but it's only basic communication. Then you need to have data, an AI portfolio, use cases, big investments, and have a vision and strategy on how AI is going to completely transform your industry. I have a master's in strategic foresight, which is envisioning scenarios 20 years from now. And how it works is you take a variable, you extrapolate the variable and say these are 4 possible scenarios for this industry with AI. It has no impact. It has a lot of impact. And then internally, we adopt this, we don't adopt this. So imagine the scenario in 5 years in which AI has a lot of impact and you did not prepare for it. What's going to happen in your company? Imagine a scenario in which it had a big impact and you prepared. In which it didn't have, as simple as that. So just think about it. How is warehousing, logistic industry going to be 5 years from now with the help of AI? Streamlining, document processing, helping you take decisions, helping you improve your workforce skills. To derive substantial value from artificial intelligence, companies must rethink how humans and machines interact in the workplace. We need to move from what can technology do for us to what can technology be for us. We need to shift from calculate, organize, monitor, correct, remember, to teach. Teach me how to do things. Advise me on how to take a decision. Decide for me in an impartial way. Supervise. Let me know if there's a mistake. We've all seen how in truck there's a camera that tells, you can identify if I'm tired. It's been around for a lot of years now. It can supervise. It can co-create with me. I've been using it and it's mind-blowing how more productive it can make you in a matter of seconds. So what's your next move? Thank you. So any questions?
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Sandra Pulido. Pues bien interesante el tema que nos traes, de que en base a tu experiencia y en lo que has visto con este desarrollo en lo que viene en la industria de la educación artificial o esto, ¿de qué manera crees que vaya a impactar lo que vienen siendo las carreras? Porque vimos que muchos, por ejemplo, no necesitan, por ejemplo, solamente graduarse y van a poder ya aprender de lo que es la inteligencia artificial. Entonces, ¿de qué forma crees que vaya a impactar la economía en la cuestión de desarrollo de empleos y carreras, etcétera?
So every couple of years there's a technological shift that scares us. And it's been around. I mean, you saw that in agriculture, you saw that in factories. Now we're going to see that in office space. But what I've reflected is there's no way of stopping this. All of the economies evolved from agriculture to simple manufacturing, to complex manufacturing, to services, to finance. That's how economies evolve. It's natural. Now, the question that we need to ask is, what skills do we need to thrive in a digital environment? And there was a study done by the World Economic Forum, which says, is the World 2023 World Jobs Report or something like that. And it says the abilities or the tool set that we need is ability to communicate, complex thinking, problem solving. I mean, it's soft skills that we need to develop in order to properly communicate with technology. We've all seen that new generations are less tolerable, they tolerate less feedback. They have an anxiety to communicate. I mean, that's been happening because of technology, right? That's why I say that AI is not a technological shift, but a cultural shift in which we need to go back and understand the importance of basic things such as human communication. This is not going to work if I'm not able to properly communicate. Now, I believe that formal education helps a lot to develop my ability to deal with frustration, to deal with instructions, to follow instructions. I mean, it's basic. It's not only about the knowledge, it's about the ability, and that comes from education. Networking still happens a lot. So the gap is going to increase, not only in the usage of technology, but in also human abilities. Now remember, how many of you 10, 20 years ago, you could remember the phone number of your home and cell phone? Nowadays, it's really hard to know your significant other's cell phone. I mean, you just don't remember it, but we are as intelligent as our extensions, right? Our tools. But at the same time, we need to make sure that our brain continues to develop so we're not that dependent. So I do think that it's going to mark a great disparity between people. Who are you going to hire? Someone that can be 10 times as resourceful because it's fluent in AI models, or someone that is not? I mean, it's an easy decision. So I do think that we need to incorporate AI into formal teaching. And again, it's been 2 years since. Why do I say it's been 2 years, although AI has been around 75 years? Because the tipping point is when it became available to the public, when it became cheap to use it. That's the tipping point. So it became massively available on November 2022. And look what's happened so far. I just can only imagine what's going to happen a couple of years from now. Any other question?
Well, if there's any questions, big round of applause for Eduardo for a great presentation that is eye-opening. So I think this presentation wraps up the event, because we talked education and the offerings, and AI needs to be part of education as well. And this is going to help our companies develop processes and be more efficient. Let's not be afraid, but just keep an eye. So, well, thank you everyone for your attendance. I hope you got good information from this event. We'll have the fourth one probably later on this year. We'll announce it later. But we really appreciate it. We're going to stick around here for any questions for a few minutes. So thank you very much for your attendance, and have a great day. Thank you.